So basically, Cotton Tree Meats started in 1980. It was started by my father, Jeff, and he sort of grew the business from basically the ground up. We are the biggest wholesaler on the Sunshine Coast when it comes to restaurants, pubs and clubs. And you know, we're always pushing the boundaries. We're always trying to become better. And then doing certain things like tastings and cooking demonstrations and doing stuff that that no one else is doing, because that's a big part of, you know, keeping us unique from not only other butchers but supermarkets and all the other competitors we have out there. So probably the most popular thing when it comes to pork is your pork roast. And you know, a pork roast is not a pork roast unless you have that beautiful golden crunchy crackling. There's a few steps. The main one is to get your pork to room temperature before you cook it, and make sure when you use a salt that you use a nice coarse salt so it absorbs all that moisture and really dries that skin out well. So just a bit of a rundown on what we were cooking today. The first one was we had the barbecue going. We're cooking pork cutlets and pork loin chops. So it's a real simplicity. So it's all about the seasoning, making sure you use good salt, good pepper, and a little bit of oil. Make sure your barbecue's nice and hot, and then you only want to cook that pork for sort of 5-6 minutes each side, just till it's sort of around that medium. You don't want to overcook pork, and that's a real old school sort of way that people think about pork. They think you have to really cook it, where really it could be treated just like beef, you know what I mean? And that's what we showcase today, and everyone that walked past, they're like, wow, what'd you do to that pork? And once we told them that all we did was put salt, pepper, a little bit of oil, and just back to that good quality pork, people were quite amazed. So days like today, you know, we've got three butchers out the front. We're cooking barbecues, we're cooking pork belly, we're pulling pork, you know, we're just having a good time. All the boys inside, they're having a great day too, you know. It's one of those days of the year that we all really look forward to, you know, coming to work. And just to sort of see the customers be interested, it's sort of just, personally for me, you know, you obviously have these ideas of creating days where you want everyone to react and you want it to be a success, you know what I mean? And for people to show up and be interested in what we're saying and taking recipes away and saying, oh, we were here last year and what you told me was fantastic and we couldn't wait for it again, and that sort of stuff just really sort of lifts you, and it sort of gives you a bit of a kick and saying like you're doing the right things, and gives you that bit more of a passion, a bit more of a drive to keep pushing forward and breaking boundaries and being different, you know what I mean? The butchering game is changing so much, and I think that's where as a family we've really sort of come of age, you know what I mean? Because I've got two brothers as well that are very heavily in the business, and they look after the wholesale side of things, and we're forever changing and moving forward and finding new areas and new ways of promoting our business. So yeah, it's a big part of what we do, and days like today are just a real show that, you know, we're sort of taking the right steps, and people want to know. They want to know how to cook meat. They want to know where it's from. You know what I mean? And they just want that bit of personal interaction. And I know from today, like customers that have never been here before, they saw, we saw you on Facebook, we thought we'd pop down. They come down and they see we're just having a good time, we're cooking some good food. You know, I know they're going to be back, you know, a week's time, 3 months' time, whenever they decide to come back next, and they're going to remember that day, they're going to tell their friends about that day, and it's just going to be one of those things that, you know, hopefully you leave a memory in them, and every time they think of cooking a nice meal or doing something for their family, they think, oh, well, Cotton Tree Meats know what they're doing, and, you know, they make their way down and we can sort of help them out.